Hey, what's going on, you guys? Derek here from Speed Force Media. Just wanted to give you my thoughts on Zack Snyder's recent comments regarding the hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix and comments on the potential DCU involvement. And look, I know Zack Snyder is kind of a polarizing figure at this point, unfortunately. Either you love him or you hate him. And for me, honestly, I really like a lot of his work. I love some of it. And I don't think he shits gold, but I don't think everything he does is garbage either. All right. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm just giving you my thoughts on his recent comments. If you didn't know, there was a movement of that was called hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. It's still ongoing. It's kind of a spin-off from the hashtag restore the Snyderverse. And the idea is that Netflix would get the rights to certain characters like Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, maybe Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and Zack Snyder would be able to continue Justice League 2, Justice League 3, and conclude his full story from start to finish over on Netflix, while James Gunn, Peter Safran can run their DCU, their DC studios over in the theaters and on HBO Max. After all, they are interested, at least David Zaslav has mentioned that they are interested in licensing certain characters or certain shows to other streaming platforms. We just recently saw this with Batman Caped Crusader on Amazon Prime Video. So that was the idea. And it's been a couple of months since the idea has been floating around online, and it was just a matter of time before Zack came out and commented on it. During a recent interview, he was asked for his thoughts on the campaign and responded with a shrug. What's probably amazing to learn is that my influence over those things is very small. The truth is, it would be amazing if whatever control over the IP that exists, I don't. That's not my part. That's not my role. That's, as they say, above my pay grade. Warner Brothers, as far as this screening event is concerned, have been incredible. This group is now beyond kind and caring and personal, and it's been amazing working with them, so I have no complaints. Beyond that, as far as the creative goes and what they're planning, I have honestly been busy shooting this movie. I have no idea what they're up to. Look, whether you love Zack Snyder's movies and you really think that only his movies are the ones that you are interested in, and to some degree I can understand that because I love a lot of the things he's done, but I'm also looking forward to seeing a shared cinematic universe for DC that is all cohesive, that doesn't have last-minute reshoots, that doesn't release movies without finished CGI, that doesn't contradict the movie that came before, etc. You know what I'm saying? I want a shared cinematic universe, just like the MCU, but maybe better, maybe a little more adult and fresher, but for DC characters. And if that means we got to give up Henry Cavill's Superman, as much as I love Henry Cavill's Superman, and Man of Steel is probably my favorite comic book movie, and I love the Snyder Cut. I even like the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman. I love those movies, all right? But even me, I'm willing to give those up if it means a good shared cinematic universe for DC that all the characters in the universe can shine. So I've never really bought into the idea of the hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix for that reason, because I just thought it was another way to divide the DC fan base. Yes, there is the DC Elseworlds label, which I don't understand what their excuse is for not letting them do a Man of Steel 2 under that label, or maybe a Justice League with Zack Snyder's, or under a DC Elseworld label, as opposed to giving it to just a different company altogether. It seems like if you have this DC Elseworlds label where you're going to let these directors tell a different style of vision, like Matt Reeves with the Batman, Todd Phillips with the Joker, I think Zack Snyder has a different type of vision as well, which would follow under that. And I think he really danced around in the beginning, as he said, that's all above my pay grade. You'd have to license characters like Superman and Batman to multiple different companies, live action at the same time, and that is just a headache. Not to mention, as much as I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, it wasn't the financial success that they were hoping it was going to be. It did not gain them the amount of HBO Max subscribers as they were hoping it would. And so I don't think that there's any incentive for them to actually allow this to ever happen. And James Gunn has came out a couple of months ago and debunked this himself. So it's not like this was still really cooking. But his later comments, I think, are actually even more interesting because, at least to me, it seems like Zack Snyder maybe has at least changed his perspective a little towards Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers is now Warner Brothers Discovery. It's not AT&T. It's not Kevin Tsujihara. It's not Walter Hamada. And as much as James Gunn and Peter Safran and David Zaslav are changing things, they are saying they are changing things out of love and respect for the DC universe. And Zack said again, this group is now, as if they weren't before, is now beyond kind, caring, and personal. And it's been amazing working with them. So I have no complaints. And that is all referring to the Full Circle event, which Zack is going to finally be allowed to release his trilogy of the DCEU movies, or the Snyderverse, whatever you want to call it, in theaters, which is something he's always wanted to do. And he had a little bit of a theatrical release with the black and white Justice League cut, but now all three movies are going to be able to be released for the fans that do want to see them. For the fans that don't, you're not losing anything. You don't have to go. And for Warner Brothers, really, they're not losing anything either. I'm sure they're going to get some money out of this as well. And it sounds like they've been really willing to work with Zack Snyder during this event, making new posters, making new cover art, which they would not have been able to do. Zack Snyder would not have been able to authorize those kind of promotional arts because it is still licensed to DC. He even got Jim Lee able to do some of this promotional art, which he would not have been able to do without Warner Brothers. And I'm sure that James Gunn or Peter Safran was probably somewhere behind that. And I'm a little surprised that maybe Zack didn't mention either one of their names. But he did say, this group is now beyond kind, caring, and personal. It's been amazing working with them. Beyond that, as far as the creative goes and what they're planning, I've honestly been shooting this movie. I have no idea what they're up to. As much as I love to think that Zack probably eventually would want to release his full story for the Justice League and would like to tell his overall vision, I really do think that at this moment, just at this moment, he is more focused on Rebel Moon. Then again, he is releasing his full trilogy in theaters, but I do think at the moment his heart and his passion wants to create his own universe where everybody's not going to attack him for doing something crazy with a character that's been around for a certain amount of time. These are all new. These are all his characters. This is all his story. So for Zack Snyder, I think doing stuff with Netflix, being able to tell his own stories with his own vision, they're going to let him do his own thing. They're not going to go in there last minute, rearrange a bunch of his scenes, or bring in another director. It seems like he's really happy doing what he's doing at Netflix, and I'm happy for him. I'm excited to see Rebel Moon. I don't know if it'll be the next Star Wars, but it doesn't have to be to me. It seems really interesting, and as much as I do like his DC stuff, sometimes the chapter ends. And as far as this screening event is concerned, Zack seems really proud of it. He's calling it the Full Circle, and maybe this is his way of moving on. Maybe this is his way of finding closure, and I couldn't be happier for the dude. And it seems like him and Warner Brothers might be, I don't want to speak for anybody, but from this statement from Zack Snyder, it does seem like, yeah, things are a lot better than they were 2 years ago. But hey, these are all just my thoughts. I'm not telling you how you should be thinking. This isn't me preaching. This is just my personal thoughts. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And until next time, have a great day.